Hi everyone, it's Christy from Green Eyed Tarot. Today I'm here to do a walkthrough of this new oracle deck that I just received, the Rooted Woman Oracle by Sharon Blackie. Now the artwork in this is by Hannah Willow, who I happen to adore her artwork. I follow her on Instagram. Many of you may know who she is, but if not, I will definitely link in the description box like her social media, so you can check out her artwork. But her artwork is amazing. I absolutely love it. And Sharon Blackie actually wrote one of my most favorite books called If Women Rose Rooted. And that's really what this deck, the basis of this deck is the book that she wrote. It was in 2016 and I don't have it. I should have grabbed it and I didn't. I didn't think about it. But so it's called If Women Rose Rooted, and it's in the vein of like Women Who Run with Wolves, like that type of sort of very feminine, like looking into feminine archetypes and like rewilding of the feminine. It is just, it's an amazing book. And I just cannot believe that there is now a deck that has basically been birthed, you know, from the ideas in that book. So I really look forward to using, like revisiting the book with this oracle, but I'm super excited to have it. I don't think I realized that this was out and available. And so I'm so happy that I have it right now. So it is called The Rooted Woman Oracle, again, by Sharon Blackie, artwork by Hannah Willow. This is produced by Hay House. So this is a Hay House deck. So I'm going to go ahead and obviously walk through the cards. I actually did a reading with us already. So the cards are out of order. I've already shuffled it and been using it because I was just so excited to have it. But so I'll kind of talk about too the readings and the way the deck is structured. But like I said, it's out of order right now. So yeah, so I'll explain. There's a little bit of a structure. So there's sort of like suits that go along with this deck. But so it comes in on a lovely box. So this is, like I said, a Hay House. So it has the magnetic closure box. And it opens fully, which I know some people really love, like when they don't like when it stops right here, when it opens fully and lays flat like this. So really nice production quality. It says, may the rooted women who were our ancestors and the spirits and stories of the lands they lived in guide us on our heroine's journey. And that's really what her book, If Woman Rose Rooted, is really about. It's really reimagining the hero's journey and thinking about it as a heroine's journey, and how it really is very different than what we see as the traditional hero's journey. And so that's what this is, the deck is as well. It sort of follows the heroine's journey and sort of the places and the allies that we will come upon as we move through the deck and as we move through this journey. So different stages of the journey. It's really fabulous. And for me, who has a very goddess-centered practice to begin with, this is a deck that I feel I will definitely connect with it the way I connected with Sharon Blackie's book. And again, like I said, revisiting that and then now combining it with a practice with this deck, I'm super excited about. As well as I've been using the Witch Sister Tarot so much, and that deck to me has that very ancestral and ancestor energy. I am so excited to pair that deck with this as well, because I think they're going to speak to each other really well. So let's get into the deck. We see the box. So here it has a pretty nice, like a nice size guidebook. And obviously there's an introduction. So she does talk about the book, If Woman Rose Rooted. It was published in 2016. And she talks about she calls it an echo heroine's journey, a woman's path out of the wasteland of modern society to a place of nourishment and connection, and to a profound sense of both belonging to and responsibility for the places where our feet are planted. So a very earth-centered, right, connection to the earth type of deck. So that it has a very earthy feel. And she just talks about sort of that deep-seated yearning of women in particular for that stronger sense of connection to ancestral stories and traditions. So again, to me, using this like in conjunction with a deck like the Witch Sister Tarot or any other deck that you feel connects you to sort of that ancestral spirit and that ancestral knowledge and that sort of energy, I feel like that it would pair great with any kind of deck, whatever deck that is for you. But really, and I love the idea of sort of that disconnecting from modern society, because I often feel like I don't know if anyone else has this feeling, but like, I don't know if you ever feel like you were born in like the wrong time. Like I always say that about myself, because as much as I love connecting with YouTube and social media and things, I don't really like watch TV that often. I prefer music. Like I prefer candles over having lights on. It's just there's so many things. Those are just like a few, but like that feeling of like that you were just born in the wrong time, or like you belong to another time. And that could be like past lives coming back and like memories and things like that. That's a whole nother video and that's a whole nother subject, but just that feeling. I think that's why I was drawn to the book initially, and now why I'm so excited about this deck. So she does talk about the heroine's journey, the Oracle deck as an ally and a guide, and then how the deck is structured. So there's 3 suits in this deck. They're places, allies, and journey. And then there's 2 extra cards, which when we get to them, I will definitely point them out. So there's 2 extra cards that actually relate to the Fool and the World. So the beginning of technically the card that is outside, the 0 card outside the major arcana, and then the World, which completes the major arcana. So I thought that that was a really interesting way to structure the deck. So I'll kind of point those out as we move along. Like I said, the deck is out of order, but she also offers these wonderful spreads. And the spread that I did is the journey spread. So I'll talk about what the pieces are, like the components of the spread are. And also I'll share which cards I got for it. But she talks about journaling with the cards. So lots of different suggestions for using them. And then it goes right into so here we have suit 1 places. And they're each numbered. So there's 17 cards in each suit, and then the 2 extra cards that I was saying. So we start with places, and so that's how it's structured in the guidebook, and they are numbered, so it's very easy to correspond to the guidebook, which is very nice. Very easy for getting to the page that you're looking for. So like I said, we have places, we have allies, and then we have journey, which is the stage of the journey that we're on within this heroine's journey. So yeah, so let's get right into the cards. The book is really good. Like I said, I mean, knowing Sharon Blackie from the book that I was talking about, like I already know the writing, was going to be something that I would connect with. So I'm going to just set the box aside so we can take a look at the cards. So these are the backs. They're beautiful. All this green, it looks like leaves. I love that there's like stars. I love that it looks like there's stars in her hair, and they are like the matte cardstock. So Hay House, like traditional, recent Hay House Oracle decks, it's that cardstock. So it's a matte cardstock, traditional Oracle size, pretty standard Oracle size deck. So those are the backs. Like I said, I think they're absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in a little so that we can really fully appreciate this beautiful artwork created by Hannah Willow for this deck. Oh, perfect. So this is the first card. I love this. So this is Peregrina. So this is the card. This is the extra card that Sharon Blackie relates to the Fool. So she relates this card to the Fool in the major arcana of the tarot. And you can kind of see it kind of has that energy sort of setting out on the path. So a lot of times she talks about like when using the cards in a spread, putting this out as a significator card, sort of like representing you on this heroine's journey. And she's got her companions with her. And I love how she has like the light guiding her. And there's this path. It sort of looks like it's twilight, but the sun also looks like it's rising in the distance somewhere. So I love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Hannah Willow, like I said, her artwork is beautiful. I love it. So I didn't really have any doubt that I was going to love this deck. But it's just still so, it's just making me happy seeing it anyway. So that's, like I said, that's the card that sort of corresponds to the Fool. So here we have Rooted. Again, really beautiful. Just beautiful artwork. And you can see that. So some of them are going to be, there's also, you can see, I don't know if you can see it on both of the cards, if it's in the frame. But so The cards have different symbols too that help determine which suit it is. So the triangle is the places. So you can see this one is cliff. It says standing on the edge. So some of them have messages on them and some of them don't. So this is a place. So it has the triangle. And then you can see the other card here is rooted, and that has a diamond. So the diamonds, I believe, is the journey, I believe. So the circles are your allies, and then the diamonds, I believe, is part of the journey. I have to look, but I know that there's symbols. I'm not 100% confident in which one is which, but you can see there's just different. So they're each numbered within their suit. So here we have cliff, like I said. So that's in the places suit. Here we have forest, finding the path. Again, part of the places. The Fisher King's Court. I love that card. Otherworldly treasures. So again, some of them have messages and some of them just have a word. Stone Circle. I like that. The Sacred Landscape. Oh, and it has like a badger, a honey badger. Bog Stagnation. Well, the Source of Life. And well, this is a place, yeah, this is the first card in the places suit. River is flow. More. Silence and simplicity. Island, boundedness and isolation. Cave, incubation. I love any card with a bear on it, with bears on it. So I love this. And like all the spirals. And then like you can see like the starry sky here. It's very earthy. Like I said, you can really see like the elements sort of playing out. But it has a really earthy type of energy. But really like just the connectedness to all the elements, I think. This is Lake, What Lurks Beneath. The Isle of Women, Women's Mysteries. And this sort of looks like a maiden mother crone energy. So you have like a triple goddess energy here. Mountain, vision and inspiration. Meadow, flourishing and regenerating. Cairn, portal to the mystery. I love that. I love the use of animals too. Sea, pluming the depths. It's like there's like every card I feel like so far has had some sort of animal or sea creature featured in the card. Okay, so this now is the journey. Now we're in the journey suit. So this says Labyrinth. So these cards are the, like, really where you are in this heroine's journey. The Wasteland. So you can see these just have keywords. There's no actual message on them. Quest. So that's the first card in the journey suit is Quest. The Threshold. Temptation. The Crossroads. Love this. I love this wintry feel on this card. The Fall. Pilgrimage. And you can definitely see echoes and sort of parallels of the major arcana. Now the numbers and things are not matching up, but just the themes, like the themes through that sort of the hero's journey that we know. we can relate to through the major arcana. You can definitely see that reflected, I think, in this deck, in the journey suit. I think we definitely see those themes. Shape-shifting, initiation, transformation, the call, the return, the descent. I love that. I love this card. Just the descent, the imagery in it, and just the connotation of the descent, right? It reminds me of going down into ourselves, right? Going into those darker places, in those shadows, and in our subconscious, right? Our unconscious mind. So I just love, I like the name of that card, the descent. Reclaiming the feminine. This is a beautiful card. They're all beautiful. The sacred marriage. So to me, very reminiscent of the Lovers card, right? But I love how they're made of greenery. They're sort of all like the two figures in this are just made out of the greenery. I love that. Okay, so now we move into the allies. So this is the allies suit of the deck. So you can see there's a circle on this card. So these are the allies. So here we have the Banfasa, I believe is the way that's, I think that's the way that's pronounced. A woman of knowledge in Celtic folklore. Yes, I think it's Banfasa. So that's one of our allies. Here we have the Selkie. Well Maiden, the voice of the other world. So making me think of goddess of sacred springs, right, and wells. Sort of reminds me of Bridget, knowing the connection between Bridget and sacred springs and sacred wells. But yeah, really any sort of divine feminine type of energy that can be related to wells and springs, sort of that being a portal almost, like to the other world. So this is the voice of the other world. And here we have the Banshee. So this again, very a well-known figure in Celtic folklore, specifically Irish folklore. Oh, what are they? I'm trying to think. The Banshee, like the keening woman, right? We think of like the word banshee. So like a keening woman, that sound, that keening sound, that act of catharsis. Old crane woman, guardian of the threshold. The Grail bearer, spiritual nourishment. I love the glow from this, like this grail. I love it. I love the way it's lighting up like the bottom half of her face and like sort of behind her on the wall. I love that. The artwork is just so beautiful. Oh, I love that Ellen of the Ways comes up here. I just absolutely adore this. Like any deck that has Ellen of the Ways, I'm super excited about because this is an energy that I do work with. And it says path maker and guide. So I just love that Ellen of the Ways is coming up in this deck. Again, just one of those energies that I do connect with. One of those deities that I do, that I do work with often. So I'm very happy to see her there. And here, of course, we have the Cailleach, protector of the wild. Again, another deity I work very closely with, especially in the winter. So just having the Cailleach, this divine crone, divine hag energy. Beautiful. And here we have the Sheila Nagig, fertility and creativity. Old woman of dreams, the maker of visions. Another beautiful card. Here we have Matcha, Again, another well-known Celtic deity. Really a lot of relating a lot to sort of fairy energy, right? That fairy folklore from Ireland. So it can also be, I feel like, used, I think this deck would, you know, pair well too with sort of like fairy, you know, or fae-like decks as well. Here we have sovereignty, the power of the land. So just thinking about our like sovereignty, goddesses of sovereignty and things as an ally. Here we have Rhiannon, the story carrier. Of course, Ceridwen, another very well-known Celtic deity from Welsh mythology. Another deity that I work closely with as well. So lots of connections to this deck for me. The buried moon, the hidden feminine. And the Morrigan, death and rebirth. So just absolutely stunning artwork, just the artwork alone, but just the layout and the messages. I absolutely love the way that she has structured the suits, and just like the really intentional way she did that, and how it really is reflective of a journey, the heroine's journey. I really feel like it's going to add so much to my divine feminine practice that is already such a big part, you know, of my spiritual life and like my daily life and the way, you know, I use tarot and things. So I'm super excited about using these cards in that way. So the spread that I did was, like I said, the journey spread. So the journey spread has you, basically it has you pick 3 cards. And the first card is representative of, is the journey. So that's the stage of the journey that you're on. So, so the first card that I picked, the card that I picked in this 3-card journey spread was Imram. So this is the second card in the journey suit. So this, like I said, is representative of the part of the journey that you're currently on, like where you are in the stage of this journey. So Imram, which is an Irish word, and Sharon Blackie talks about it meaning rowing about. It was like you were referred to as Imrama, it says, and you would set off across the sea with no particular direction in mind. So I do love that sort of imagery of like not having a map for this particular part of the journey, like no fixed path. Like really no certainty, and it really does remind me of the Fool. So it really does remind me of that Fool energy in the regular tarot. And so just the fact that that she talks about this card as relating to the Fool. So really, and since this is really the kickoff of my use of this deck. So this is the beginning of my journey with this deck. I really thought it was really telling and really appropriate that I pulled like number 2, right? So like really early on in this journey. So I definitely like the thought of being in this sort of no particular direction, sort of really figuring out where I want to go, like just basically trusting in fate to like point me in the right direction. So I feel like that's got a really full type energy to it, and just sort of the journey, like it's just simply taking the first step, right? Like we think about, we step out the door, we put one foot in front of the other. So we think of that as that, you know, just sort of setting off and not knowing, like it's the unknown. And that we're not always going to know, right, what it's going to look like. So I love that, because I feel like that's exactly where I am, that I'm always in flux and always transforming, and I'm always everything in my life, not just my spiritual practice or my tarot practice, but I feel like everything, I'm always sort of on this very like fluid and dynamic journey. So, and like even my tarot practice, definitely, it's just, it is ebbs and flows, and it changes, right? And then it changes again. And sometimes it goes back to, you know, the way I used to do things. So I love this, that this is where I am. This Imram is where I am on the journey. So the second card is my ally. So this is the qualities to help navigate at this point in the journey, these are the qualities that we're going to want to embrace in order to help navigate us through this part of the journey. And so I pulled Mish, and Mish is a goddess who actually shows up in the Celtic Goddesses, Witches, and Queens Oracle, which I showed in my last video with the Witch Sister Tarot. And so she is a goddess that I did not know much about, and then I got that oracle and I really started to kind of like dig into like, who is this? You know what? I don't know a lot about this figure from Irish folklore. So Mish is in this oracle, the way she describes it in the guidebook is that sort of she withdraws from civilization and she takes solace in the natural world. So again, kind of going back to that feeling of like that I typically disconnect from a lot of things like electronics and things like that, and like TV, and a lot of times I like silence. Like I like to not have the noise, like the busy noise that we have in this world right now. And also she talks a lot about how Mish represents the woman who cannot and will not submit to the brutalities of the world around her. And I just read this and it sort of like took my breath away, because I just think about everything that's going on in the world and the work and the inner sort of journey that I've been on, and how to reconcile myself with it, and just really how to show up and use my voice in my life, you know, to make sure I'm communicating, you know, my thoughts and feelings and ideas, and also just supporting, you know, people who you know, who may not have a voice for whatever reason right now, and just really trying to stand up for what I think is right or wrong, or, you know, whatever, and just knowing that the things that are going on in this world and how it's affecting the world as a whole, and then also just affecting me as a human being in this world. So I think that this was it's such an appropriate card and an appropriate ally for me to connect with right now. She talks about Mish being the original wild woman. So as we're thinking about rewilding and using this deck, this rooted woman oracle, to root ourselves again in the earth and to reconnect with those energies and things, I think that this is like it's just a perfect energy to connect with right now. And again, those qualities to help me navigate is really sort of thinking about how I withdraw from and seek some sort of solitude in nature and just with the things I love, things that bring me, and then be able to express things like rage and anger and sadness and grief at the atrocities and things that are going on in this world, and how I can use the earth to work sort of that healing, you know, healing magic on me, and connecting to that wildness. So I think she's just perfect. And I'm very happy that this is the way this is going, like the way this is playing out, it's resonating with me. So then the third card is places. So these are the tasks to be undertaken at this stage. And I pulled Bridge, the place between worlds. So again, everything that I was just saying, like about sort of having my 1 foot, you know, in this world and 1 foot in, you know, a world where I'm just really connecting to that earth energy, and maybe connecting to like ancestral knowledge and spirit guides and, you know, the other world, that otherworldly realm. So I think that pulling this Bridge card was, again, it really resonates with this energy. Like I said, so this place between worlds, this bridge. And I'm going to look at the guidebook for this and tell you just kind of what the author and creator says. So she says the bridge in this card is an in-between place. On one side of the chasm lies the mundane world and the life we know we've now outgrown. On the other side, the other world shimmers, a light with promise and possibility. The bridge invites us to step over. But do we really believe in that magical new world across the water? Do we really believe it will be quite so bright and shiny after we've crossed? So the bridge is a point of transitions from one place to another, or from one way of being to another. It's a liminal space, a place between stories, where the old story is fading and a new one is waiting to emerge. So it's a time of waiting, she says, and not quite knowing the future. So again, that energy of this, not having a direction, not knowing where I'm rowing, and this, it's reflected in this card as well. So just the way this whole journey spread read and the story that it's telling me, it's very cohesive, at least in my mind, and the messages I'm getting. And I think that it's very important to be in the liminal space right now. I feel like that's what it's telling me, is like that to be rooted in that liminal space is, it's almost like a contradiction, right? Because like liminal is that very word, that liminal is sort of like that sort of like unknown, like suspended, right? How can you be rooted in that? But I think that I need that's what this is going to help me. That this practice and just diving into this is really going to help me figure out, how do I root into that liminal space, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. So that was my sort of interpretation. And like I said, I feel like I love this. I love, again, the story. I love this story that is being told in this journey spread, and this is in the guidebook. And there's a few others. There's definitely a few others in here that I'm looking forward to, but I really wanted to start it out with this journey spread because it's giving me an idea of where I am, you know, in this journey. So again, that's the Rooted Woman Oracle. I really look forward to diving in more, to using this with, like I said, different tarot decks. And I also look forward to having this be a part of my regular spiritual practice, just the work that I do around the divine feminine and the work that I do with goddess energy. I think this is going to be a great addition to that work. And like I said, even just revisiting the book and combining it with the oracle, and just that connection to that ancestral energy, like I was saying. I actually have a new tag, I think, that I'm going to introduce on my channel, kind of around that divine feminine sort of energy. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I think that this is gonna play into that as well. If you have this deck, let me know if you got it and if you've been using it, if you did the journey spread, just what your thoughts are on it. But I will definitely link, like I said, the information for both Sharon Blackie and her book, as well as Hannah Willow and her artwork. And this deck is it is a mass market deck, so it's readily available from Amazon, from Hay House. And so yeah, let me know if you like this video. Please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. There will be more videos coming soon. And I hope you all are doing well, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.